I can imagine it's like a bit of a taboo topic, but at the same time, I think it's like it's normal because we all do it, and like pretty much almost everybody, especially if you're a dude, at least once you've seen porn.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm in this interesting position now, having sort of stepped back from the filming side of it quite significantly. And I'm out here kind of trying to help the average dude be better in the bedroom, right? That's kind of my thing now, right? And a lot of guys, especially younger guys, have a serious problem with how much they jerk off to porn. They do it too much. They do it so habitually that it screws up every other aspect of their life. And you can see that in their habits, the way they carry themselves, how successful they are, their fitness, their diet, their discipline, everything gets, their dating life especially, everything else gets screwed up because they have this one really bad habit. And I kind of look at porn the way I would look at like cigars or alcohol. And it's like, I know, like I like to enjoy a good cigar. And I know perfectly well that cigars are not super duper healthy for me.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that. I still enjoy them because I'm an adult and I'm able to make my own decisions, be they good or bad. So I'm able to indulge in that vice every now and then. Same with alcohol. I know alcohol ain't great for me, but I enjoy a beer here and there. So I'll indulge in that vice. I can be aware of the fact that these things are bad for me without wanting to, picket the government to say, make them illegal, ban them completely.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think there's a degree of, well, not just a degree, like quite a lot of responsibility that people need to take when it comes to these kind of bad habits. So I'll say to guys straight up, look, if you're having any kind of problem in the bedroom at all, the first thing I'll tell you to do is to stop watching porn and stop jerking off. It's the first thing I'm going to tell you. That might sound a bit hypocritical because I produce, like I make the stuff, right? But there are people who can consume that product and not develop a bad habit.
Yeah.
And it won't screw their life up. Great.
Because they'll only watch it every so often.
Yeah. Same with alcohol. There's people who can consume alcohol and it doesn't screw their life up. There's other people, you give them a bottle and they're living under a bridge. So I think there's a degree of personal responsibility that's required on the part of the consumer to know, like, be self-aware, like, is this screwing me over? Do I have a problem? Do I have a bad habit? If so, I need to fix it, right? And rather than looking to like blame the producer or the creator, like no one's putting a gun to your head and saying jerk off. No one's done that, So guys can go on these sort of big anti-porn tirades and say porn is evil, porn is bad, the industry needs to be shut down. But at the same time, like if you have so little self-control you can't stop jerking it, maybe you should look in the mirror first. It's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for most guys who do have this issue, when you tell them stop watching it, can they usually just listen to you and be like, okay, I'm going to stop? Like what is obviously the easiest way to stop is just to stop. But I imagine some people just can't. Yeah,
it's a bit harder for others. Depends upon how habitual it becomes. So what I actually kind of prescribe for guys is a thing called a dopamine detox. Because it's all very much related. Like the reason why habitual porn use screws dudes over so much is it can stuff up their dopamine receptors, right? So you get exposed to like a ton of novel pornographic material. Your brain is just constantly being bombarded with that degree of novelty, right? So when you eventually get a single beautiful woman in front of you, rather than like 20, 30 different tabs of porn with 20, 30 different women doing different things, that one woman isn't as novel. The dopamine response your body gets is nowhere near the same. So the guy doesn't get excited anymore, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that can help guys get kind of reset their brain a bit is to do a dopamine detox. And it's not just around porn, but the baby steps they can take before they can, to make it much, much easier to stop porn entirely, is cutting out things like super sugary foods, like high glycemic index carbohydrates, right? Things that give you that real kind of rush when you eat them. Cutting out alcohol, right? Cutting out
social media,
right? Endless scrolling. If you can start cultivating these little habits of cutting these things out that all screw with your dopamine, okay, well then naturally that positive momentum is going to make it much, much easier for you to stop jerking off to porn every night.
Yeah. So basically anything that gives you like instant gratification with like no work required.
Yeah. We don't know how to have delayed gratification anymore. In like the TikTok age, that attention span has just disappeared entirely. It's. I think, and you said you were 32, right?
Yeah.
I think we're very blessed to have been born before the iPhone.
Yeah.
I think anyone who was born, like, who kind of had their teenage years prior to the iPhone coming out is super, super blessed.
Yeah, my first phone was a Nokia. It was black and white, no camera. It had Snake on it, and that was about it.
Everyone loves Snake.
Yeah.
I remember with my Nokia, I used to be able to, when I was driving, with one hand, have the Nokia in my pocket, and I had the muscle memory down so good, I could text somebody. Like, I could find their contact. I could say, Mike, like, dinner, 9 p.m., steak, whatever. And I could send that text, and it'd be flawless, no mistakes, from my pocket without looking at the phone at all while driving. And then I remember getting my first smartphone, and I couldn't do that anymore because you can't, like, I didn't know whether, I'm like, this is trash. Like, these are nowhere near as good as a Nokia.